Yeah, for the next 24 hours, I'm going to be living inside of my car. This is not your typical 24-hour challenge, though. I have my own set of rules that I'm going to be going by, and I'll explain more of what those are and why here shortly. Before I get started, though, this is my car. It is a 2019 Ford Fusion Titanium. Okay, so here's the view of the back of my car. You can see my little sleeping area stretch all the way through, and you may have noticed this and wondering why the hell do I have a canopy and a tent and some other camping gear in here. The other stuff I have in my car is just some blankets, my media bag, duffel bag with some clothing. Again, everything that I have is just bare bones minimum. The whole purpose of this journey is for me to visit every single EDM community that I possibly can and record everything. A lot of those events are going to be camping festivals. So the reason that I'm carrying all this camping gear is that way I want to have everything readily available whenever it does come time for me to use it at a festival. Downside, yes, it does take up a lot of space. Good thing though, I'm a pretty minimalistic guy. So yes, this is definitely going to take a little bit of trial and error, which is exactly why I'm doing these videos and preparing myself beforehand. So now that you got a quick little rundown of what I'm doing and why, from this point on for at least the next 24 hours, I'm going to be doing everything as if I was actually living out of my car right now. Let's get started. So while I'm doing this journey, my main source of income is going to be DoorDash. Now this is a Saturday, which means it should be prime time to make some money. And thankfully I'm pretty well ahead for my week's quota. So whatever I make today is kind of just extra money. But I definitely am going to push myself today just to see how high of a bar I can set for myself. Before we do that, I do have some chores that I need to take care of though. I have another herd blanket to give away. The winner has already been announced, so we're gonna head to UPS, mail that off to her. Then after that, gonna go get my car cleaned and washed. And the last chore that I have is to get my hair cut. To you as a viewer, it may not be a big deal, but for me, it is 100% a problem. My appointment was initially at 8 o'clock this morning, but it got pushed back. I meant to have my hair cut before I started this whole video, but now I get to incorporate it in, so here we are. Anyways, let's go get these chores done. Okie dokie, the blanket was mailed off. Now let me go get this car washed. That at least gets that done for now. Keeping this car clean is going to be absolutely essential. I feel like that's kind of obvious already. I'm already so limited on space. Any little bit of clutter or trash obviously is just going to make life a lot more harder than it needs to be. So glad we got it cleaned up. So there's already a couple things that I'm taking notice of. One, this would be a lot easier if I had a designated camera. As of right now, I am doing all the recording, editing, everything is being done from my iPhone. Which is not bad, it's convenient, it's easy, and I know how everything works. But the back and forth that I keep having to do is a little bit annoying and tedious. If I just had a camera that was designated to be running pretty much all the time, it'd make life a little bit easier. Thankfully, I already got one of mine and saving up for it, so I know that problem's gonna be fixed. As far as space and actual things that are in the car, so like I said, I am going to be going to music festivals, and that means I'm going to be carrying around my totem. Now my totem is pretty tall, and thankfully whenever I went to Lost Lands, I know how well it can potentially fit in here. Again, it's just another one of those things that I'm going to have to play Tetris with, but essentially it's going to reach all the way to the front. My totem's going to be in here, and I know for sure I'm going to have a suitcase to carry all my clothing in. As far as food goes, I still am a little bit undecided as to what I'm going to do. The first thing I did think of was do or do I not want an ice chest? So if I do get an ice chest, I for sure just want to make sure that it's a good enough one that's going to keep ice actually solidified inside of it for a good amount of time. The last thing I want is to have to constantly change out water every handful of hours. Once a day is fine, but multiple times throughout the day, that just ends up being too much of a chore. I am completely sustainable off of just dry food, but I do face a little bit of a challenge though, knowing that I am on a diet, a very high protein diet, so I am gonna have to get creative. Right now my diet is mainly just eating ground beef and vegetables. And honestly, right now the way things are looking, I do have more room than I thought I would. You gotta imagine, I still have a little bit of room that's underneath here. I have the front part of the passenger seat as well. And really just in general, I have most of the passenger seat area. Again, I still don't want to overdo it, especially since, you know, I obviously have to lay right there. But between fitting my totem, potentially an ice chest, and just a larger suitcase, after all the packing that I've done for music festivals already, that is actually going to be light work. It may not be much, but small food storage could go right there. So I actually got a little bit of time to kill before my haircut appointment, which is going to be about 30 minutes. I am a little bit hungry. Again, how I eat today is not going to be reflective of how I am going to eat whenever I'm out on my journeys. During my travels, I'm going to have a lot of non-perishables inside of the car. Things that I know I could easily eat and don't require a lot to keep good, I guess. Stuff that's not going to go bad, essentially, is what I'm going to keep inside the car. And on top of that, I don't plan on keeping a lot of it. But since I am just only doing this for 24 hours, one, I'm trying not to spend a lot of money, period. A big thing that I've already put in my head is that if I don't need to spend it, then I'm not going to. Every little bit of dollar is gonna go a long way. So whenever it comes to food, I'm gonna make sure to save up as much as I can. And right now for the trial runs, this just means I'm gonna spend as little as I can. And right now for me, that means getting tacos. A bit longer than anticipated. Okay, I lied just a tiny bit. I actually ended up getting enchiladas. Surprisingly, the enchiladas were just a little bit cheaper, and since I know that they'll fill me up more, I can just go off that one meal pretty much the entire day. I'm trying not to overdo it on calories too much, and I probably shouldn't have even got this in general, but again, if I'm kind of just spacing it out for one whole meal, then I'm not too worried about it. Right now, I am on my way to go see my barber to finally get my hair cut because this right here is just too much. So the next time you see me, like right now, I feel so much better now, like a brand new human being. Thank God. So one thing that is gonna suck though is that while I'm out on the road, I'm obviously not gonna have my typical barber, which that is heartbreaking. But I'll make it work. I don't get my hair cut that often, about once a month anyway, so it'll be a hurdle that I jump over whenever the time comes, basically. All right, so now all my chores are done. I mailed out the giveaway blanket. Car is all good and clean now, and I got a fresh fade. I didn't have time to eat my food though, so I'm gonna do that real quick. And when I come back, I'm gonna start door dashing for the rest of the afternoon, at least until nighttime comes. I am so excited. Look at this, look at this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, booyah. So again, me ordering food like this is definitely not gonna be something that happens often. One, it was cheap. It was only 10 bucks. Pretty good deal. Also, I more than likely won't finish the whole thing, so that means I will have a little bit of extras either before I go to bed or something to eat tomorrow, maybe. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if I want to hold on to it. Preserving food over extended amounts of periods of time in my car is obviously something I kind of want to avoid because, yes, I am only going to be in here for 24 hours, but I know in the future, I'm obviously going to not want food to go bad inside the vehicle and make it smell bad. And for $10, come on now, who could pass up these enchiladas? Delicious. Either way, let me eat real quick and I'll get back to you. Bye.
A few moments later.
I didn't save any of it. Whew, that stuff was too good. However, I do feel really amazing now. Feel nice and full, gonna have plenty of energy. I'm gonna need it because my goal is to, again, DoorDash and grind out as much as possible. While I'm out on the road, my main source of income is gonna be DoorDash. Money has to be made, that way I can survive and this whole trip can actually happen. And again, once I'm done dashing, I'm gonna find a place for me to camp out for the night. So for the next 10 hours, I'm gonna be staying relatively busy. And until then, here's a little montage of me door dashing and making money. So honestly, one of the saddest things about living in Dallas is the fact that I didn't explore as much as I wanted to. So one thing I really am looking forward to whenever I start hitting the road is to actually take the time to visit and actually explore places. Dallas is such a beautiful city. And honestly, there is a lot to do, so I feel like I missed out on a lot. Okay, so now comes the fun part of the video. So I know I have a little bit of an advantage right now knowing where I'm at in Dallas. I guess what I'm trying to say is I know an ideal place of where I can camp at. Anyway, there's a park that's in a nice residential area that is just private and secure enough to where I know I can block out the windows as much as possible and sleep perfectly fine and go completely unnoticed. So I'm gonna go ahead and set everything up, that way I can get some rest. Okay, for the most part, I got everything set up. What does suck is that I do have one window that's kind of a little bit more exposed than I would like it for it to be. And by more than I like to be, I mean completely open. But the side that is exposed is actually facing towards the park. So thankfully, I know I'll be up pretty early enough to where I can just go ahead and leave out of this area if I need to. Honestly, where I'm at right now, though, everything should be perfectly fine. Honestly, I'm blocked off where I need to be blocked off. And really, this isn't a bad spot at all. It's just a matter of not being found. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and catch some sleep, and I'll catch up with you all in the morning.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so cool thing, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be at all. I guess I went into it not knowing what to expect, but as far as actually being comfortable, I was. Literally no problems throughout the night at all. It got just a little bit cold, but I mean, it's still winter time, but nothing too bad because I was completely fine just with one blanket. Yeah, that went pretty well. So now what I'm gonna do, You see how I had like a little blanket thing like covering up one of the windows that just fell down. But either way, as far as like, I have some window covers that are coming in to completely block out all of the windows. Hopefully they'll be here by next week and I can get this into the shot and just do a little bit more properly. And this wasn't bad at all. I slept for a solid 8 hours as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up, I'm going to head to the gym, work out for a little bit, shower up, and then honestly, I might just DoorDash again. That's pretty much what's going to take up a lot of my time while I'm out. I always want to make sure that I have extra money on me. So the more money, the better. Might as well just go ahead and knock it out while I still can. And I want to try out DoorDashing pretty early today too. See, my car says it's 55 degrees outside right now. Again, though, for what it was, that really wasn't bad at all. Having an extra blanket or two would have been nice, but given how much of a gap there is, you know, I really can't overdo it too much. Laying on my stomach or my back actually was pretty fine. It's whenever I wanted to try and lay sideways that things got a little bit difficult because that is only so tall. So my hips would definitely like rub up against that if I was like on my side. Otherwise though, I was actually really comfortable. And I feel like I slept really well. Another good thing about this too is that I'm also realizing, so if you ever wake up and you're just kind of laying down in bed for about like an hour and a half, just being lazy, it's typically something that I would do. But now that I'm out in public and I'm clearly right here by a park, the incentive to get up and get going and get my day started like immediately, that's like the first thing that's on my mind, because I obviously just don't want to be seen here in the park just chilling all morning. But again, let's go ahead and head to the gym. Okay, so I am here a little bit early. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the extra jacket that I brought in my little bag today, just because I knew it'd be a little bit chilly, and while I wait, I might as well fully clean up and brush my teeth and such. I just didn't want to do it out in the park because I noticed that there's people already walking around. So I wasn't sure how I felt about brushing my teeth and just spitting out, you know, right there in public. At least here I'm in the parking lot where it doesn't seem as weird. I mean, there's anybody out walking their dog, nor is there anybody, you know, out pushing baby strollers right now. So yeah, again, I don't feel that's weird. Definitely had to make sure to bring my multivitamins with me. So one thing that I'm glad that I carry a lot of is water. I do go through about a gallon of water every day. And this isn't the only one of these that I have inside the car too. I have this one and another one. One, I just like to stay hydrated. Having water around or readily available is always just a good thing to have. It's really just gonna be for cleaning and hygiene type purposes. Also, you will notice that yes, that is an LA Fitness. This is not a permanent thing. I know for sure I'm gonna want a gym membership more than likely to a Planet Fitness or at least 24-hour fitness. Something that I know is more readily available. LA Fitness hours are typically just typical daytime hours, and they're not as easily found across the country. So if I stay with my LA membership, it would also be more expensive too, which, you know, I want to save as much money as possible, so there's no point in doing any of that. Yeah, definitely gonna switch gyms. This is just what I've had ever since I've lived in Dallas. And for where I was at, LA Fitness was just the easiest option. There's a little patch of grass right here. I thought it'd be better. I thought it'd be better to brush my teeth here. Figuring out where to position my camera is definitely gonna be something I have to obstacle over. There's my lovely car. Alrighty, so I made a little bit of an oversight, nothing too crazy. It's just all at once I had to pee really badly. So thank God that they finally had opened up. Either way, now let me get the rest of my bag ready. Alright, the bag might be a little bit overkill, but it has all my clothing inside of it. It has a water bottle that I carry around, that way I don't always have to just go to the fountain. Headphones, shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush, all that other stuff all over again. Either way, this bag is going to be essential for me whenever I go inside the gym. So it is a must-have. Now, let's go work out. So I've never been to the gym this early before. It's actually kind of mind-blowing how there's literally almost no one here. I'm also realizing how much I look like death. Sorry if I'm a little bit winded, but there is something that I'm noticing. For the most part, it's a good thing, but it has to do with my energy. Because typically what I do is, you know, at the end of a day, once I'm done door dashing, working and everything, that's whenever I hit up the gym. Which, realistically, if you think about it, is whenever I should be my most tired, right? Just went through the whole day. And especially since right now, since I'm at a calorie deficit, my body isn't always getting all the energy that it needs to, simply just off of food and such. So now, even though, yes, I've woken up and I haven't eaten yet, my body did just get a full night's worth of sleep. So the energy that I have now is definitely a lot more different than it would if I was working out at night. So again, another bonus. Oh yeah, there's definitely a noticeable difference. Either way, I'm gonna finish up my workout, listen to some music, and then once I'm done, we'll go to the grocery store just to get some like small food to eat. This is me pre-calisthenics, basically. So calisthenics is something that I've really been wanting to get into. And while I know pull-ups just aren't calisthenics, I have just been building my strength in general. That way I can actually start practicing calisthenics, or at least get a bit of a better start. I'm aware that it is just you controlling your body weight, and I still got a long way to go. About 2-3 months ago, I could barely do like a couple pull-ups like that. And that's just from that grip too. But either way, it's still pretty cool to see progress. Honestly, the temptation to just go buy some coffee right now is pretty strong. But one thing I absolutely cannot do is fall into any bad spending habits. While yes, I've already pretty much made a rough budget of like how much money I can spend or how much spare money that I have, justifying some of that spending money on Starbucks coffee every now and then just doesn't feel right. And so yesterday with those enchiladas that I ate, that was a pretty heavy meal. So I'm definitely gonna keep it a lot lighter, and I mean that legitimately this time. Probably some fruit, a salad, and then like a yogurt drink or something. All right, woo. That was another $10 spent, which is not that bad. Do I think that that's reasonably going to be sustainable? And I mean like during a long period of time while I'm out on my journeys? No, I do not. What I'm trying to stick to though is my diet. I mainly just taking a lot of protein, and I do that by literally eating like a pound of ground beef every day. Just cooked up mix of vegetables and such. And what realistically I would like to do is to have a small camper burner and just a big enough pot or pan. That way I can ground up and cook the ground meat every single day. And that, with all the other dry food that I have, usually takes up all of what I eat throughout a day. It's a very, very simple diet. It's very bare bones minimum, honestly. I'm not starving myself by any means. But thankfully, just the food that I do eat, it doesn't require me to keep it cold. It's just gonna be a matter of storage. And then honestly, whenever I buy ground beef too, I typically buy it like in a value pack, so it's cheaper. So I'm gonna have to account for me spending just a few extra dollars a day on getting that. But for what I have right now, between the apple sandwich and the yogurt, I also have my protein powder and creatine that I forgot to mix up after I got out of the gym. That's not bad, especially for the morning. And given the meal that I ate yesterday, this definitely means that I'm probably gonna be sticking to this. Maybe just snack a little bit more, that way I don't overdo it on calories. So just for a quick recap of everything that I've done so far in the car. Yesterday, I started out and got some chores knocked out. Mailed out the giveaway package, got my car washed, got my hair cut. And then DoorDashed all day. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention, out of the 8 hours that I was driving, I made just a little over $160, which is not that bad. It's basically $20 an hour. And I probably would have made more money than that too had I actually started earlier like I intended to. Yesterday's day was supposed to start off like this one. Overall, what do I think so far? I'm realizing that I do not need a lot, which honestly I feel like I'm gonna come to that realization more and more as time goes on. But as a good travel one with like bare bones minimum, it is not that bad. I think next weekend for sure, I'm gonna do this a little bit longer. I'm gonna do this pretty much as soon as I get off of work Friday and go all the way until I have to work again. Steadily just gonna be warming up to me actually doing this, you know, full time, I suppose. There wasn't really anything that I brought that I didn't need. I actually had my Anker battery pack with me, and the only thing that I haven't done that I intended on doing was just working on some music. Music hasn't been getting as much attention just because I've been working so much. And that still continues and plays on right now. Yeah, I technically could work on some music, but really I want to just work and try to make some money this morning, see how it plays out. So again, none of this is going to matter if I'm not able to financially support myself the way I want to. There's a certain number in my head. I just want to make sure that I constantly make it. So I'm putting myself through every bit of scenario that I possibly can. And realistically, whenever I'm out on the road, how I started my morning out today is pretty much how I'm going to start it off in general. I'm going to wake up, work out, clean up, eat, and then immediately start working. So now hopefully I can hit my quota early today, and then after that I'll be able to calculate and see how much more time I'll have afterwards. Hopefully that all makes sense. And also, if you made it all the way through this video so far, I really do appreciate you so much. There's honestly so many reasons as to why I am doing this whole trip anyway. And it's honestly kind of hard to just pinpoint one, but I know I just want change. I need change. There's a lot more that I could be doing. There's a lot more that I just want to do, and working the same schedule, doing the same things every day, it's just not entertaining. And while yes, for the most part, I'm going to be doing that in my car, at least I'll be out traveling and exploring the world and visiting all of my friends. Anyways, I'm going to eat real quick, but the next time that you see me will be whenever I pass the 24-hour mark, which will be at some point in time while I'm mid DoorDash.
1 million, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
Okay, cool. So I pretty much have done everything from my vehicle for the past 24 hours. I actually even went a little bit over that, and obviously will, because I plan on door dashing all the way until at least like 9 or 10 o'clock, which is what I figured most of this would be anyway. It's just gonna be me door dashing. Again, making sure I have enough money is the priority. So driving for work, especially DoorDash, is something I'm already used to. Secondly, this honestly is not the first time that I've ever had to sleep out of my vehicle. I say had. I chose to, which I'm still choosing to do now. It's just the last time that I did that is whenever I was working in Houston and I had an expedition. So I'm definitely having to work with size right here. Again, as far as space, nothing was really that bad. I've noticed that, you know, once I already got the day going, there's hardly ever any time that I need to like stop and get anything different. So some things that I'm gonna do differently next week. One, I should have the window covers by then. Also, side note, if you already thought this and think I didn't think it, yes, these windows will be tinted. They're not tinted right now. It's a full-on fishbowl, which is not ideal. I'm just gonna make sure that I have something that's completely legal across the country. So project for later, for sure. I'm gonna be getting windows tinted. But at least for next week, whenever I do this again, I will have window covers. I'm gonna put a little bit more stuff in the vehicle this time. I am gonna squeeze my keyboard in here for sure. I am gonna put my totem in here. And I'm also gonna spend some time trying to make some music and vlog that as well. The food situation, not as bad. What I got already earlier was only $10. And again, I'm not trying to overshoot it too much on food. So having things that I know I can bite and snack on while still working around my diet is something else I'm gonna try next week as well. But for a good first run though, I'm actually pretty happy with how it went. I'm steadily getting closer and closer. The middle of April is whenever I plan on leaving. So taking these little baby steps, getting myself prepared for all this is definitely turning to be helpful. It's more beneficial than anything, but it's really exciting. So if you made it all the way through this video, I really do appreciate you. Please like, leave comments, any little bit of notes, tips, whatever would be completely appreciated. And next week, I'm gonna take another step by putting more stuff inside this vehicle and trying to do this in a little bit longer of a stretch. Anyways, guys, my name is Victor. I appreciate you watching my video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.